Hello, I'm Maurice Bernard. This is my official YouTube channel. I'll be keeping you updated with the latest news, so please subscribe to my channel. That is what makes Valentin such a compelling figure to me. Even now, after all these years, I still cannot fully decide whether he is trying to save Port Charles or quietly position himself above everyone else. The writers have created a man who constantly walks between protector and manipulator, and I believe that balance is exactly why viewers cannot stop watching him. The revelation that Valentin knew about Cullum's double agent history going back 2 decades changes the entire emotional landscape of this story. Suddenly, the past does not feel buried anymore. It feels alive. It feels dangerous. And more importantly, it makes me question every conversation Valentin has had with Brennan, Anna, and even the WSB itself. If Valentin truly knew Cullum was corrupt all those years ago, why stay silent? Was he protecting someone? Was he protecting himself? Or was he waiting until the corruption inside the WSB became too large to hide any longer? I personally believe the answer is more complicated than simple revenge. Longtime viewers understand that Valentin has always carried emotional scars connected to power, rejection, and survival. He learned early in life that information is safer than trust. While other people form emotional alliances, Valentin collects secrets. That is his armor. That is how he survives in a world filled with betrayal. So when I see him carefully revealing pieces of the truth about Cullum now, I do not think he is acting impulsively. I think he has reached a point where the danger has finally become impossible to contain. What worries me is that Valentin appears genuinely afraid of what may still be hidden inside the remains of pikemen and the darker corners of the WSB. Fear is not an emotion this character shows often. That alone tells me the situation may be far worse than viewers currently understand. For years, General Hospital has hinted that the WSB was never as clean as it pretended to be. We were often encouraged to view the organization as morally complicated but ultimately necessary. Now, however, the show seems to be pulling back the curtain completely. Through Valentin's perspective, we are beginning to see the possibility that the WSB may have allowed corruption to thrive because corruption itself became useful. Cullum may not be an isolated villain. He may simply be one surviving piece of a much larger machine. That idea changes everything. If Pikeman is still secretly operating beneath a new identity, then Port Charles is standing on the edge of a war nobody fully understands yet. And honestly, I think Valentin realizes this before anyone else does. The man has spent too many years navigating criminal organizations, intelligence networks, and dangerous alliances not to recognize the warning signs. His obsession with uncovering the truth about Cullum no longer feels personal. It feels strategic. One detail that continues to stand out to me is Valentin's growing willingness to directly challenge Brennan. That is not a small thing. Brennan is not someone most people would openly provoke unless they possess devastating leverage. Valentin clearly believes he has something powerful enough to threaten Brennan's position, and I suspect it is connected to the years Brennan spent behind bars while Valentin controlled pikeman operations in his absence. The deeper I think about it, the more convinced I become that the real story has not even been revealed yet. I believe Valentin knows exactly how Brennan secured his freedom. I also believe that freedom came at a terrible cost. Perhaps Brennan sacrificed allies. Perhaps he made deals with enemies inside the WSB itself. Or perhaps he allowed Pikeman to continue functioning under new leadership in exchange for protection. Whatever happened, Valentin appears to hold pieces of the truth capable of destroying Brennan if exposed publicly. That is why the tension between them feels so explosive right now. These are not simply two rivals arguing over power. These are two men carrying years of hidden betrayal between them. Every scene feels heavy because both characters understand that one wrong move could expose secrets capable of collapsing entire networks. And then there is Cullum. The more the show reveals about him, the more unsettling he becomes. What makes Cullum dangerous is not just his corruption. It is his patience. Unlike reckless villains who crave attention, Cullum operates quietly. He survives because people underestimate how deeply he has buried himself inside powerful institutions. Valentin, recognizing that danger years ago, suggests he has been tracking a hidden war long before the audience realized one existed. I also keep returning to the subject of Faison because I do not believe his influence on this story is over. General Hospital has a long tradition of allowing dead villains to continue shaping the future through secrets, hidden projects, and psychological damage left behind in others. The repeated references to Faison's final project cannot be accidental. Something connected to his past experiments, weapons, or intelligence networks is still active, and Pikeman's interest in obtaining it suggests the consequences could reach far beyond Port Charles. That possibility terrifies me in the best possible way as a longtime fan. There's a coldness surrounding this storyline that reminds me of the classic espionage years of the show, when nobody could fully trust anyone and every alliance felt temporary. Valentin stands directly in the center of that atmosphere now. Some viewers still want to categorize him neatly as either hero or villain, but I think that misses the point entirely. Valentin represents survival shaped by trauma. He does terrible things, yes, but often while trying to prevent something even worse from happening. That complexity is rare in modern soap storytelling. I also find myself wondering whether Anna truly understands how much danger Valentin is in. She may suspect pieces of the truth, but I do not think she fully realizes how deeply this situation could explode. If Valentin openly attacks Brennan with whatever secrets he possesses, he may trigger consequences reaching into the highest levels of the WSB. And if Cullum realizes Valentin is preparing to expose him, the retaliation could become deadly very quickly. This is where the story becomes emotionally fascinating for me. Valentin is acting like a man who knows time is running out. His decisions feel sharper, more aggressive, and more reckless than usual. That tells me he believes the enemy is moving closer. The walls are closing in, and he may no longer trust silence as a survival strategy. There is also something deeply tragic about Valentin always carrying knowledge nobody else wants to hear until it is too late. We have seen this pattern before throughout his history on the show. He often discovers truths long before others, but because of his own morally questionable past, nobody fully trusts him. That isolation pushes him further into secrecy, creating a cycle where he becomes increasingly dangerous precisely because he feels alone. In many ways, Valentin may be the only character currently capable of seeing the entire board clearly. Brennan sees pieces. Anna sees fragments. But Valentin sees connections. He understands how Cullum, Pikeman, the WSB, and Faison's legacy all fit together. The burden of that knowledge appears to be slowly consuming him. And perhaps that is the real tragedy developing here. I keep asking myself one question while watching these episodes unfold. What if Valentin is actually telling the truth about everything? What if the man everyone fears is the only one truly trying to stop a disaster before it reaches Port Charles? Soap operas love to play with perception, and General Hospital has always excelled at stories where the most suspicious character ultimately understands the danger better than anyone else. Still, trusting Valentin completely would be foolish. That is what makes this story so effective. Even when he appears sincere, there is always a possibility that he is manipulating events for his own advantage. Maybe he wants Brennan weakened. Maybe he wants control over whatever remains of Pikeman. Maybe exposing Cullum is only one step in a much larger strategy we have not seen yet. That uncertainty creates the emotional heat currently driving the storyline. As someone who has spent years emotionally invested in this show, I find myself eagerly waiting for every new clue because the story feels layered again. It feels intelligent again. Instead of simple good versus evil storytelling, we are watching damaged people navigate systems corrupted by power, fear, and survival instinct. Those themes resonate strongly with longtime viewers because they reflect the deeper emotional identity General Hospital has always carried beneath the romance and drama. Right now, Port Charles feels like a city sitting above a hidden explosion waiting to happen. Valentin knows it. Brennan suspects it. Cullum may already be preparing for it. And somewhere in the shadows, the remnants of Pikeman and Faison's legacy continue moving quietly beneath the surface. That is why this storyline has captured my attention so completely. It is not just about espionage anymore. It is about trust collapsing under the weight of secrets. It is about people realizing that the institutions they depended on may have been compromised long ago. And most importantly, it is about Valentin standing in the center of that storm, carrying truths dangerous enough to destroy enemies, allies, and perhaps even himself if they are finally exposed. Thank you for watching my video. I will regularly update you with the latest news about the drama General Hospital, so please stay tuned.